This is fascinating. Forget dollar bills and coins. The shadowy currency known as Bitcoin is hitting an all-time record today. On Friday, it closed at $2,855. Today, it has jumped to $3,400. That is a 19% leap in a single weekend. And I know a lot of you don't understand exactly what Bitcoin is. This is cryptocurrency or digital currency. Still has a lot of fear circling around it. There's been illicit use. There have been arrests of people stealing this algorithmic currency, ransomware payments, drug dealing, money laundering, massive price swings. The long bucket list has a lot of people turning away from it, maybe even Congress. But one man is determined to change that. Back in 2008, former Washington lobbyist Jack Abramoff served 3.5 years in federal prison for conspiracy, bribery, and tax evasion. But now he's finding a new life on reality TV. He's got a new show called Capital Makeover, Bitcoin Brigade. It starts filming this fall. Jack Abramoff will be in it, and he's behind it. He joins us now in a Fox Business exclusive. And I guess the premise, Jack, welcome to the show again, is that you will tutor or train Bitcoin startup companies on how to lobby Congress to allow them to do a clean business, correct?
Right, exactly. Basically, the show is that a group of engineers, folks who aren't not only from inside the Beltway, inside Washington, but really aren't able to present things face to face with most human beings, now need to come to Washington and try to explain to Congress in the ultimate kind of arena of discussion and things like that, that they have an interesting industry that Congress should not take a meat cleaver to, but actually has to probably take a bit of a scalpel to. And so my challenge will be to help them do that.
Well, it's up 200% over the 6 months. It's been up 300% over 5 years, but it has been a rocky road that, again, frightens people. There are all kinds of fears. I mean, you remember the Silk Road controversy where bitcoins were being used to buy and sell illegal drugs, etc. How would you even start to explain this to Congress in a docuseries?
Well, for openers, obviously they're going to need to learn about what digital currencies are, and the fact is that around the world it's exploding. But, however, as you've mentioned, terrorists and drug dealers and other bad guys and gals have been using anonymous digital currency. So the group that I'm helping actually has developed, they're called AML Bitcoin, and AML stands for anti-money laundering. And this is a coin that's going to launch, I guess, in a month or so. Okay. And it has patented technology to actually prevent the criminals from being involved in the digital currency world in the United States.
Jack, you know, and you're ready for this question, but some might question your ability to guide somebody on lobbying when you yourself got into real trouble doing it and spent more than 3 years in prison. So how do you counter that? I mean, obviously the show's being shot, so somebody bought.
Well, Liz, I've been spending the last 7 years of my life trying to reform the lobbying system. I obviously was at the wrong end of it, and it got me in a lot of trouble, and I paid the price for it. But since that time, I've come out, and I've been working with the reform groups to do it. We're actually going to train this group to have moral lobbying, to not include any of the things that Americans disdain about lobbying, which is using money to unlevel the playing field and things like that. So in a certain respect, it's not only, the show is not only about Bitcoin and not only about lobbying, but it's about how lobbying can in fact be moral. And unfortunately, I am the expert on that because I was the bad boy on the other side.
Well, yeah, it's like hiring a hacker out of prison by a legitimate company so that they can figure out where their holes are. But even the Winklevoss twins, the guys who helped found Facebook, even they got rejected by the SEC for their Bitcoin ETF. This is not so easy to do.
Right. I think that each of the Bitcoin enterprises have their own particular aspects. In fact, one recently was declared a security. We're not really going to get into that aspect of it. I think that the focus of the folks who are coming to D.C. and the AML Bitcoin folks is the AML component, AML KYC, anti-money laundering, know your customer. It's the Patriot Act standards that banks use in the United States that has not been applied to most digital currencies, and that's what they're going to promote in terms of Congress. Okay. And by the way, Congress, that's exactly what Congress wants, which is a solution that keeps digital currencies available for our citizens, yet protects our country.
Well, you'll have to get in line because there's so many investigations right now that Congress is steeped in, particularly regarding the Russian alleged collusion here. You, as somebody who understands what it means to be convicted for whatever crime, but inside the Beltway, I do have to ask, Paul Manafort, Michael Flynn, there are many, many names who are now under scrutiny for not having disclosed relationships with foreign countries, foreign governments, while they were serving for the Trump campaign. How do you see this ending? How do you see this going?
You know, it's hard to know because obviously at all times, including in my case, I didn't know how my case would go, let alone how their cases would go. You know, the media unfortunately jump into these things and create an image of what's going on. The prosecutors who are looking at it know what the facts are. If they violated the Foreign Agent Registration Act, it's very unlikely that anybody goes to prison for that. I don't think anyone has ever gone to prison for that. They may be subjected to fines. They may be a misdemeanor. We don't know. I think, however, it seems that the investigation is indeed expanding into other areas that may implicate some of the Democrats, particularly in the Hillary Clinton campaign, in things that may in fact be crimes. So we'll just have to see how the prosecutors proceed. Try not to jump to conclusions ahead of time because it destroys people's reputations unfairly, and we'll just see where it comes out.
Okay. Jack Abramoff, thank you so much, and come back when it launches and let people know where they can see it. It'll be interesting to see Bitcoin Brigade, the show, the reality docudrama or docu-series. Good to see you, Jack. Thank you so much.